evening.
I wonder who we're going to have join us tonight, Johanna.
Yeah,
I'm really excited. You get to see our lovely faces again. I hope no one's sick of us yet.
Too bad if they are.
Too bad. We're so excited to be back together with you. Hi, Teresa. So lovely that you could join us tonight. Tonight is our Q&A, and Johanna's just getting herself set up with the comments and whatnot. Hi, Beth. And we are just so pumped to have you online tonight. So as you will have seen, this is a special compassion-centered Q&A. So we are really excited to have Johanna here with us.
That's it.
To talk a little bit about compassion. So she's got your comments right there coming up on her phone. So if you do have some questions, please send them through to us. That would be wonderful.
Beth says no one is sick of us yet. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth. You're wonderful. We love you. But obviously, if you're not aware about the work of compassion, or you do have some specific questions related to child sponsorship or going on missions trips or anything related to giving money for a program like this, Johanna would love to be able to answer that. So please pop your questions through. If you are new or visiting for the first time to one of our Q&As, a big welcome to you. We are so glad that you are watching. If you do want to find out a bit more about us as a church, you can email us at hello@abundant.org.au and we'll be able to give you heaps of information about who we are and get to know you, maybe line up a time to have a cup of tea or a chat with you. Hi, Pete. Hi, Dishingtons. Loving seeing all your little videos of Maddie up there.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
I saw one that Emma had posted earlier today with Maddie just like sprawled in the car seat. That was very exciting.
I'm sure she's loving having her grandparents with her, so that's just lovely. Johanna, Sunday, if you weren't in church on Sunday, we did have Compassion Sunday, and this is a bit of an extension or a flow on from our morning together, which was so good. We had both our 9 a.m. online service and our 10:30 a.m. service focused on our missions partner Compassion. Can you please tell us how many children were sponsored?
12. We sponsored 12 children on Sunday.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
All.
Yeah.
That is just incredible. What a generous church we have. So what does that bring our tally up to now?
Well, we had 192 children that we sponsored as a church.
So we've cracked the 200.
We've cracked the 200 mark. Yeah.
That is awesome. That is so incredibly exciting. Well done to you. And well done to you guys for your just amazing generosity. You continue to give and go again and again. That's just wonderful.
Such an amazing outcome.
Yeah. So, child sponsorship.
Yes.
$48 a month.
Yes.
Where does that go?
Yeah. So one of the things that we spoke about on Sunday was this sense of how can I be sure that my money is actually going towards this child that I sponsor. At Compassion, we're actually really committed to financial integrity with all of this stuff. And so you'd notice that actually if you go to the Compassion website, all of our financials are posted up there. So you can see our 2018-19 financial year review very shortly. You'll be able to see the 19-20 financial year review. But essentially, our commitment to supporters is that 80% or more of the funds that you give go directly to the field.
So good.
And 20% or less is just what stays in country for administrative costs.
Awesome.
So just to be able to keep things running this side in country, 20% or less and 80% or more goes to the field.
That's awesome. And so when it goes to the field, what sorts of things does it go towards?
Yes. So your child in the program will receive access to healthcare, at least one checkup each year, further medical support if needed. They'll receive a healthy snack or meal each time they attend the centre. They'll receive hygiene and sanitation training for children, and that often will involve their parents and their caregivers as well. They'll be given opportunities to hear the gospel in a manner that's appropriate for their age and cultural context. They'll receive personal care, support and discipleship from the local partners.
Awesome.
They'll receive financial assistance if they need it for any school fees, any books, any uniforms that they need. And they'll also be part of vocational or tertiary education, just to ensure they're well prepared for employment and economic self-sufficiency. So
That's great.
actually one of the things I was talking with an advocate about today was the fact that all of the children in the compassion programs worldwide, they actually do this thing from the age of, I think it's 13 or 14, which is called My Plan, and it's My Plan for the Future. So essentially the project workers on the field actually get these kids to think about what their plan for the future is really early on. So they have a chance to just develop that and have a chance to develop the skills that they're actually going to need later in life to be self-sufficient.
That's great.
So to be able to get a job or to be able to create self-sustaining forms of employment or income, so that they can actually sustain themselves and their family, and that the program won't be needed then for their family after that.
Yeah, so it's like breaking the
cycle of poverty.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so for people who are watching who weren't with us on Sunday but would love to be involved in maybe sponsoring a child, is it too late? Do you have a way in which they can partner with us? Because I know that the kids that we have particularly chosen, they're from our partner projects in Indonesia, right?
Yes, that's correct, yes. So as Abundant Life Church, we partner with 3 projects in East Indonesia. So that's from a little village called Tobelo, and it's right up in North Maluku.
Yeah.
And there are still children that we have available to sponsor in that area. I think we're about to post that link up in the chat.
Yes.
So if you were interested in sponsoring a child from this region, just click the link and it will actually show you a few children that are available, and you can sponsor directly from that link.
Awesome. I love that. That's so good. We've just had a couple of really good questions come through.
Great.
One of them is, so COVID-19 is obviously a global crisis at the moment. Pip's asked a great question. I'm really glad, because we were going to cover this as part of our topics tonight. How has Compassion continued to operate during this season? Yeah,
so as with everyone globally, everyone's been in lockdown, things have had to shut down, programs have needed to operate differently. And what I find amazing about our church partners on the field is actually just that their heart for these children has not stopped.
Yeah.
So in whatever way they can, they've been ministering to these children even through global pandemic and even through crisis.
Yeah, awesome.
So for different countries, that actually looks different. In most countries, that means that the program centres themselves, so the children would normally come for to receive the Compassion program, are closed, just because they can't actually operate out of that centre in this time. But what the project workers have been doing in this time is to be able to bring those programs and educational activities to children in their homes.
Awesome.
So for some countries, this means home visits. For some countries, this actually means giving out food packs and meal packs. The Philippines, I know, have been particularly fantastic about getting meal packs out to neighbourhoods and just out to families. I think they've distributed something like 600,000 meal packs.
Isn't it?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Just crazy. I think in Guatemala, I was reading the other day, one of the things they've been doing is they've been giving the children educational magazines, which to me says that they've been giving the children resources that they can actually continue to use for schooling at home, as well as things that are actually going to engage the kids. And I know they've also been doing weekly phone calls there as well. So what it looks like is different in every country, but the heart for these children remains the same, and your sponsorship is still going to the same place, to these beautiful, vulnerable kids.
That's great. That's awesome. They've had to be very creative. I'm
Absolutely.
sure they're working so hard. So I know that Compassion are so passionate, not just about trying to engage sponsors. So I know that Beth's put up a great question.
Yeah.
If you can't sponsor a child, can you still be involved with the work of Compassion, and what does that look like?
Yes, absolutely. So there are many ways that you can be involved with Compassion. I think the first one, you know, just because you might not be in a position to sponsor a child doesn't mean that you can't get a child sponsored.
Isn't that awesome? I love that,
so you could advocate for a child in poverty, you know, just in your networks. You know, you might actually know someone that you go, you know what, these people would be great sponsoring a child. I know it's in their heart. There's no reason why you can't either ask me for a child that is available to sponsor, or you can just take them to the Compassion website. On the Compassion website, there are children available to sponsor, and you can share those specific children via Facebook, via a link.
Great.
On each child that is available, there are specific link-offs that you can just go, great, I'm just going to share this with this person.
Yeah.
So there are so many ways that you can advocate to see a child sponsored.
Great.
But beyond that, there's always opportunities to volunteer, just to help out. Just a lot of different ways that you can be involved. So I'd love to hear from you if that's you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I know one of those ways is, and you talked a little bit about this on Sunday, and I wasn't actually aware of this, so forgive my ignorance, was that you can actually be a compassion letter writer.
Yes.
So I'm going to put my hand up and say that one of the things I have found challenging about being a sponsor, and Steve and I have multiple children, is the pressure, or I guess the responsibility I feel to write letters.
Yeah.
I know that the children treasure those letters
Yes.
so dearly, and they put them on their walls, and they're so important to their family. And I know that, and I can be honest and say that sometimes it does make its way down the priority list, and mornings like Compassion Sunday or opportunities like this are just always a good kick up the butt for me to get into gear and to write those letters. Can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges of letter writing that you've encountered and how you've overcome that, but also maybe an opportunity for people who can't sponsor that would love to be involved?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So firstly, I just want to put it out there. Do not feel guilty. If you can sponsor but you can't write, it's much more important for this child to receive the support than for them not to receive it just because you feel like you can't write. So sponsor even if you can't write. One of the things that we want to do as Compassion is to be able to partner the people who can sponsor but can't write with the people who can't sponsor but can write.
That's great.
Yeah. So we actually have a specific title called correspondent as part of our Compassion model. And so if you want to become a correspondent, if you believe that you can write but you might not be in a position to sponsor, that is absolutely something that you can do, and I'd love to chat with you more about that because we're always in need of correspondence. But I'm just thinking of the question.
I guess all of us feel that pressure, right?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes. So one of the things I was sharing with Laura earlier is actually that, I remember sitting in a room last year with 150 people that were employed by Compassion Australia, and we're talking about how much these kids treasure our letters. And honestly, all of us were looking at each other going, I don't write enough. So the guilt it's something that everybody feels. But if possible, honestly, I'd love to just take that off of us. That goes, these kids, they honestly they want to know probably three things. Number one, you love them. Yeah. Number two, you're proud of them. Number three, just how's the weather? Yeah. Ask them a question, respond to something that is in one of their previous letters. Keep it short and simple. It's much easier to write if you just think about those three things. Yeah. Just share something, share a scripture that you've been meditating on. If you'd like some letter writing points, I'm really happy to send you through a couple.
Great. Yeah.
That's totally fine. So just chuck up in the comments, yep, me too, I need help with letter writing. Be really happy to help with that kind of stuff.
I love that. So don't not sponsor because you feel like you don't have the time to commit to letter writing, because we can help find people that can do that for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So another question I have for you, and continue to put through your questions if you've got them. We've got the information right here. What about, you've been to the field. Yes. We call the field, the countries that are currently having these compassion programs operating. You've been to these trips where you've visited the children, you've seen the projects, you've visited the churches. What was that like?
Yeah, so I think we come with a bit of a Western mindset as to what we're going to expect and what we're going to encounter. And it's so interesting that honestly what I saw was people. I didn't see circumstance at all. Circumstance is a part of it, and you walk in and you're aware that things don't look the same like what they look like back here at home. But what you notice is actually the passion of these people. And honestly, what I really noticed was just how much these project workers, they're volunteers that actually work in these churches to love on these kids.
Great.
How much of a heart they have for these kids and how much they are committed to seeing these children developed and released from poverty. And that doesn't necessarily look like just released from physical poverty. They're actually really invested in the holistic development of this child, so that when they actually walk out of the program, they're equipped with life skills and they're equipped with ways that they can actually walk as an adult, as a healthy adult, in a world that actually is broken.
Yeah, that's great. And how has that transformed you coming back from a place like that into where you are now, in terms of how do you take what you learnt over that and apply that to your life here?
Honestly, one of the biggest things is that I look at the church on the field and I go, oh man, I want to be like them when I grow up. I go, what would it look like if actually our churches in Australia looked like our churches on the field? I feel like there would be revival in our nation. Just the passion and the hunger that these guys have to go after God in their situation.
Yeah, amazing.
I feel like we talk about the kids and we don't talk about these project workers, which is probably the right way about things. But the biggest thing that you notice is honestly these project workers and just the heart and the hunger that they have and the dependency that they have on God, which just has over time has developed a confidence in them that God is going to provide again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like we don't actually get that opportunity here because we have so much. We don't necessarily have the opportunity just to rely on God so wholly and so fully. And I go, what would it look like for me to do that? It honestly just makes you realise that we can live on a lot less than what we think we can.
That's right. Yeah. And you talked a lot about their passion and their intimate relationship with God, because they do just rely on Him so heavily. Yeah. And there's so much that we can learn from each other. That's what I think is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Is every time that I have felt like I've gone to do the helping, I've actually been helped in return. Yeah. It's just the beautiful partnership of I think how God's designed us to relationship. We talk about like each of us needs all of us. We really do.
Yes.
I love that. And so you've talked a bit about on Sunday how compassion is obviously a Christ-centered organisation, and that you'll never take the "in Jesus' name" out of your title, which I just think is awesome. But what about for someone who's watching tonight who either isn't a Christian? Can they still be a part of this work of compassion, and can a child still be a part of a program but also not come from a Christian background? Yes.
So first of all, if you're not a Christian and you want to sponsor a child, that is absolutely fine. If you are passionate about releasing children from poverty, sponsor. You don't necessarily have to be a Christian. You don't even have to write about Christian things in your letters. That's honestly totally fine. You just sponsor a child and see his child released from poverty. On the other side, on the field, the way that children are selected to be part of the program is honestly based on need. So it's in the local area that the church is ministering to, and it's totally disregarding the fact of whether they're Christian, Muslim, tribal, no religion. It's based on need. If this child is in need on the field, they will be a part of the program.
Great. That's awesome. That's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
So Pip's just asked a question. So if we had a Christmas gift to our sponsorship, so we talked about gifts of compassion on Sunday. So maybe you can explain a little bit about firstly what gifts of compassion are.
Yeah.
But if we add that Christmas gift to our sponsorship, do all 3 children in the family get a gift, or just their sponsored child in that family?
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we talk a little bit about gifts of compassion firstly, and we can go down that line. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I just want to put a disclaimer. I am still quite new in my role at Compassion, so there's actually some questions that I don't know the answers to, but I'm committed to finding them with you, and Pip, I will get back to you on that one. Let's talk about gifts of compassion. So gifts of compassion is a really great way that people can be involved with a once-off donation, and can essentially essentially give a gift on behalf of somebody else.
Yeah.
So let's say you've got someone that's incredibly hard to buy for around Christmas. You might buy a goat through Gifts of Compassion.
Not a real goat.
Not a real. Well, it would be a real goat on the field.
Yes.
It just wouldn't be a real goat in Australia. So you would buy a goat for a family on the field.
Yes.
And then you would give a card to this person that is really hard to buy for and say, I bought you a goat on behalf of these people that are actually
Love
on the
that.
field.
Yeah.
So your gift has given to somebody else.
It's an awesome idea for Christmas. I know
Right, yeah.
every year I get some gift of compassion from either one of my family, and I love it.
Yeah.
A chicken or a goat or some school supplies or
Yes.
anything like that. I think it's one of the best gifts that you can give at Christmas time. Yeah. We will find out the answer to your question, though.
I definitely
Never
will,
fear. But yes, as part of your sponsorship, you can add on
A Christmas gift, yeah.
or a birthday gift.
Yeah. So we actually recommend that you add both. So a birthday gift is essentially when it's your child's birthday, they'll receive a gift. So like if you were going to a child's birthday party here, you would take a gift. The birthday gift essentially just allows you to give that to your sponsor child. The same with the Christmas gift.
And
receive a
they
gift
always
around
tell
Christmas
you
time.
about it in your letters. They always report back on what they got.
Yes.
Which is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So you're obviously very passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
And I would love to finish on this for tonight. Why do you do it? Why do you work for Compassion? I know you get paid to do it, but obviously you've chosen this as a career path. You really love going on overseas missions trips, and you're very passionate about what you do. You speak with such a boldness and an assurance that this is the path that you feel like God's taken you on. Why is this work so important to you?
Look, I think more than ever, our generation and probably even the guys coming after us are honestly looking for purpose. So in our jobs, we're not just looking for something that pays the bills. We're actually looking for something that is making a difference. And I see in this organisation a way to make a difference. And I see in this organisation a way that my hard work actually isn't for nothing. That there are actually people on the other side of the world that are benefiting from my work here. And I'm actually having a real impact, not just on their lives, but on their future and on the future of nations. So to have that opportunity as a little kid from Cygnet in Tasmania on the bottom end of the world, I honestly go, you know what, I can have an impact that actually lasts generations beyond me. Honestly just feels like the greatest privilege in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And why do you think this work's important to God? Like why do you think that he values it so highly? We spoke on Sunday about the way that children, particularly children, and people that can't speak up for themselves are just so close to God's heart, because he goes, hey, nobody else is speaking up for you. I want to be that. I love that.
And honestly, I feel like it's a call from God that just goes, hey, would you be my heart for these people? And if we actually want to know who God is, it means getting to know who his heart is and how his heart beats. And so that opportunity just to be able to go, God, this is something that you care about. What would it look like for me to actually care about that? And how would I outwork that? Just that opportunity and that relationship is really beautiful.
I love that. That's so good. I love our church's heart to put themselves in a place where they'll allow themselves to be confronted with brokenness and allow themselves to be moved to action. Because you're right, God's heart is for the marginalised and for the broken and the hurting and the poor and the orphans and the widows. And time again, you know, we talk often that God really, and Jesus particularly, when he was on the earth, interacted with those people and he made them a priority. And so therefore we should do the same. And I love that.
I think one of the other things that we spoke about on Sunday is just this sense that poverty is not necessarily just physical poverty.
That's right.
You know, so we actually encounter poverty everywhere. It's not just on the field. It's not just in you know, majority world. It's not just in places in Indonesia and places in South America. It's not just there. It's also here in our own backyard.
That's right.
And so just to be able to recognize that poverty can be in so many different areas, like can be spiritual poverty, can be emotional poverty, can be, just economic poverty, a whole bunch of different things, but that God's heart is for fullness in everything.
Right.
And so as we walk as Christians in this, God's heart for us is fullness.
That's right.
And out of that flows our heart that wants fullness for the people around us as well. And so whether that's here in our own backyard or whether that's across the world on the field, it's the same regardless of where we are. Yeah. We're just called to be something here right now.
Well, can you please pray over that for us? I love that. And, and that we, as Christians, both watching this now or in the days to come, would be challenged to knock on our neighbour's door or reach over the desk at work or sponsor a child if that's what it looks like. But we would just be open to being led by God to notice, I think, firstly, and to move ourselves to action. Yeah.
All right, let's pray. So, God, we just want to thank you that no person is insignificant to you, that there is no one currently walking the earth or ever has walked the earth that is insignificant to you, that everybody, every single person has a purpose and a place and a calling in you. And we just want to say thank you for that, first of all. But we want to ask you for the eyes to be able to see that purpose and that calling in the people around us. We want to ask for your ears to listen for those whispers of where there is pain and where there is poverty. That we'd actually be able to hear your heartbeat in those situations, and that we'd be able to hear your heart calling us to knock on our neighbour's door, or to look over the fence, or to sponsor a child, to look across the globe. God, just that we'd respond to your heart, that the things that you're giving us, we just respond back to you. And so for everyone watching right now, for everyone that's going to watch in the days to come, God, I just ask for incredible conversations. And I ask for your spirit to actually move in their situations, that they would have more than what they think they need, and that they would discover that actually you are giving back to them the very thing that you want them to release, the very thing that you want them to let go of for somebody else. So thank you for the ways that you're going to speak to us in the coming days. Thank you for the things that you're going to lay on our heart and in our letterboxes and in our emails and in our text messages. Thank you for those calls and the things that you're just going to place in us to give away.
That's right.
Give us eyes to see and ears to hear. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Jo. Wasn't she amazing? You should give her a big thumbs up and well done. But thank you so much. Thank you for all that you brought to us on Sunday. Thank you again for coming online and doing this tonight. I know that you are available if anyone wants to talk to you about letter writing, child sponsorship, becoming a compassion advocate. The link was posted in our chat, so if you do want to sponsor, you can do that tonight. Or think and pray about it and come back to us. It will be our great joy and privilege to take you on that journey. You'll also have received already an invitation to our services this Sunday. So both our 9 a.m. online and 10:30 a.m. in person. So make sure that you register for that. We've got Terry Bienenfeld preaching this Sunday, so that's going to be awesome. We'd love to have you. The link to sponsor, again, was also in that email. But we love you guys so much. If you do want to continue to connect with us, please reach out at hello@abundant.org.au or send us a direct message here. Check out our website. There's so many ways that you don't have to do this life journey alone. But otherwise, have an awesome rest of your week and go and love somebody. Bye.